Power to the truth. This is Margo. This is Wednesday, January 30th, 2019, and it's 4:29 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. I'm going to get right into the earthquake report because I'm getting a little bit of a late start and some of these are going to start falling off the map soon. Then we'll go over to comments and whatever else comes up. So I have USGS all magnitudes for the last 24 hours pulled up, and they're showing 240 earthquakes worldwide. Now if we look at 2.5 magnitude and higher for the last 24 hours, we're showing 60 on the map today, which is about twice the amount of what we see of 2.5 magnitudes and higher. So it has been really active, and the magnitudes are increasing. So I'm going to start with the ones that are going to be falling off the map, and then we'll go around the globe. Okay, we saw this one that came in yesterday afternoon at 4:34. It was a 3.6 off the coast of Petrolia, California. That was 2.1 kilometers in depth. And so we saw that one, and we saw that it's on the southern border of this Juan de Fuca plate. And so this is the Juan de Fuca plate here. This is the Pacific plate. This is the North American plate. And so this is an active area that we're watching because it's connected with the San Andreas fault and all the way down. So that's a very active area that we got to keep an eye on. Then down here in Fiji, they had a 4.6 that came in at 4:38 yesterday afternoon. 472 kilometers deep. I don't know if I reported on that or not, or if it got posted after my show ended. I think it got posted after my show. This was near Nidoy Island, Fiji, and so that was a deep earthquake, and with the deep ones they will cause a lot of tectonic movement around the plates. Now the rest of these, okay, this one a 4.1 down here in Argentina, near Londres, Argentina, happened at 5:15 yesterday, 169 kilometers deep. Also, this 4.9 down here in the South Sandwich Islands came in right as I was uploading my show, and it came in at 4:58 yesterday afternoon. And 4.9, this is a real active area, and we can see it's on that red line as well. So now I think those are the main ones that I had to get to, and because we'll have time to get to all the rest of these now. So I want to start down here in South America. We looked at this 4.1 near Londres, Argentina, and it was on land, and I don't see where Londres is, but that would not be enough to cause much damage, but you could definitely feel it shaking. Here's a 5.6 that happened right off the coast of let me look at that. Taltal, Chile. that happened yesterday at 11:44 p.m. 38 kilometers deep. It's not showing a little wave for a tsunami warning. So if that had been on land, that would have caused some shaking and maybe some damage. So there's that. Then we had this one up here on this red line, a 5.9 on the Central East Pacific rise that came in at 7:31 this morning. Then we'll just go on around here on Mexico. Here is one off the coast of Nicaragua that came in. It was a 4.5 near Jiquilillo, Nicaragua, that came in at 3:41 this morning, 62 kilometers deep. Then here was one on the land in Mexico, in southern Mexico, in Veracruz. It was a 5.4. They're listing it as 44 kilometers southwest of Chantalpa, Mexico. This came in yesterday at 5:46 p.m., 179 kilometers deep. So that would be big enough to get people's attention, definitely. Then down here in the Fiji area and Tonga, we had this 4.6 that I just showed you near Nadoi Island, that came in at 4:38 yesterday afternoon, 472 kilometers deep. Then there was a 4.6 near Niafu, Tonga, that came in at 6:59 last night, 252 kilometers deep. And then a 5.3 near Hihifo, Tonga, that came in last night at 10:22 p.m. So those are important. They're right down there on that Pacific plate line. Then over here in Papua New Guinea, there was a 4.9 in the ocean. They're showing it 174 kilometers southeast of Taran. I guess this is Taran. Oh wait, it'd be over here. Taran is over here. At 5:53 yesterday afternoon, and all of these times are Pacific time, because I haven't set to local time for me. Then there was this 4.5 on land and Indonesia, near Babana. It was a 4.5. It came in at 3:35 this morning. Then let's see what else is down here. Then up here in the Philippines, we have these two in the ocean, a 4.8 near General Luna, that came in at 1:28 this morning, 35 kilometers deep. Then a 4.9 near Lorente that came in last night at 7:28 p.m., 114 kilometers deep. Then coming on up here to Taiwan, we've had two. This one was right at the south end of Taiwan, was a 4.9 south. It was near Hinchung, Taiwan, that came in at 7:14 this morning. And here was a 5.3 to the east of the island, to the east of Hualien, Taiwan. Came in last night at 9:21 p.m., 19 kilometers deep. Then we've got these in the Northern Mariana Islands. Here's a 4.4 near Agrihan that came in yesterday at 6:20 p.m., 166 kilometers deep, right by that red line. And then another one of 4.7, and it came in at 3:07 p.m. this afternoon. They're saying this is 208 kilometers east-southeast of Iwo Jima, Japan. So from there down. Let's see what else we have over here. Okay, I think we got those. Okay, we're not seeing any else on this in Asia or Africa or anywhere like that. So we got Mexico, we got South America. Next I want to go down to the Dominican Republic. They're having a swarm down here. This is showing 28 of magnitude 2.5 and higher down here in the Dominican Republic area. And so if we go to all magnitudes, we see, get a little closer, all magnitudes are 31, so only 3 of them were under 2.5 magnitude. And it looks like the highest one was a 4.0. Oh, here's a 4.3. So it's in this swarm. So let's zoom in and see what's going on down here. Okay, here's this one, 3.4 near Roadtown, British Virgin Islands. And then these smaller ones, I'm not going to focus on these too much. These 2.5s, 2.3, 2.4, and so forth. I want to look at this swarm right down here. It's northeast of the island of Dominican Republic, and it's directly south of this red line. So look at how they're clustered up there. And it's 23. And they're in the threes. Here's a 2.9. That's one of the lower ones. But these are like 3.3, 3.2, 4.0. They're calling it near Punta Cana, or Punta Cana, however you say it. 3.0, 3.3, 3.2, 3.2. And there are various depths from 9 kilometers to 80, 56, 93, 53, 87, 83. So, you know, I don't know what's going on. Here's one that was 106 kilometers in depth, 3.0, and so forth. Here's 113 kilometers depth. So this is definitely an uptick here, definitely, in magnitude and numbers of earthquakes. So maybe something is about to happen down here. I don't know. It could be building and something about to happen. Now, up in Alaska, let's start with 2.5 magnitude and higher. And we've got 8 on the map here, 2.5 magnitude and higher. I'm just going to click on them and call them off. 3.3 near Kodiak, 0 kilometers depth. 2.5 Koktovik, 2.5 Talkeetna, 2.5 Cantwell, 2.5 Meadow Lakes, 3.8 Nikolsky, right down here. This is part of the Aleutian Islands. 2.5 Anchor Point, and 2.6 Talkeetna. So now if we go to all magnitudes up here in Alaska, we've got 67 on the map today. So Alaska, this Alaskan area averages between 50 and 100 every day because it's a very active area seismologically. So we saw those 2.2, 2.6. These red ones are the recent ones, 1.5. So they're coming down through the middle of the state, as you can see, and then we're still having this cluster down here in Anchorage. Not as many as we have seen, though. That's showing 27 here. But we are seeing an uptick in the magnitudes. So now let's come down to the United States and see what's going on down here, because out of 241 earthquakes, 122 are showing right here in the United States. So half of them are right here. So we've had some larger ones happening. Let's get going with this one that just showed up down here in Nevada, 2.5 near Hawthorne. Okay, here's a 2.6 near Round Valley. Here's one at San Francisco, 2.8. It says near Daly City. This one, it's right next to, here's the Bay Area, but it's on the coast, so it was in the water on the Pacific coast near San Francisco, that came in at 10:28 this morning, 12 kilometers deep. Here's the San Andreas fault line that we're watching. So it was right next to that fault line, we can see. And then coming on down, we've got, okay, I showed this one. Then down here in the Los Angeles area, we had 2.8 near Northridge at 9:46 this morning. 3.2 near Loma Linda that happened right at midnight last night, 16 kilometers deep, and a 3.6 at Lucerne Valley. At 6:40 last night, 1.9 kilometers deep. So that was the largest one. So what you're going to see is when we look at all magnitudes now, a lot of small ones are going to be peppered in with these larger ones. So let's start up here in the Pacific Northwest. We're seeing, okay, up here, I'm going to get Idaho off the map because that's part of Yellowstone. We're seeing 8 up here in Washington and Oregon area. So I'll just call them off. 1.4 near Banks, Oregon. 0.1 near Poulsbo, Washington, right up here near Seattle. 0.5 near Morton, Washington. 1.1 near Morton, Washington. 0.2 near Sun River, Oregon. 1.0 near Castle Rock, Washington. And then we got 2 explosions. We had a 1.8 magnitude explosion here near Lafayette, Oregon. This came in at 11:37 this morning. It was minus 0.5 kilometers deep. So it was up in the mountain or on a hill. And then we've got a 1.8 explosion near Canyonville. So this was here. So the other one is down here. 1.8. This one came in at 3:06 p.m. this afternoon, minus 0.5 kilometers depth. So the explosions are blasting and construction. Then over here in the Yellowstone area, we've got a 1.6 near Lima, Montana, and a 1.6 magnitude from a quarry blast up here at Butte, Montana. They're still blasting. They blast every day. This came in at 12:01 p.m. this afternoon, minus 2 kilometers depth. So that's up in the mountain or on a hillside. And then down here in Utah, we've got a 1.6 near Enterprise. Okay, nothing down in Arizona. Now let's go to Nevada. Here's another explosion near Ely, 1.8, that came in at 12:12 this afternoon. And then here's a 1.6 explosion, magnitude explosion near Tonopah that came in at 3:08 this afternoon, 0 kilometers depth. And then these are regular small earthquakes of 1.8 near Gabbs, 1.0 near Gabbs, and so forth. We're showing just a couple down here in southern Nevada. Nothing that I'm going to get that upset about. But the largest one so far is this 2.5 near Hawthorne. And we're seeing some more down here. This is an active area for whatever reason. Here's a cluster 5 or 7, well, counting some extra ones, right down here. So this southern area of Nevada is connected with the Nevada test site in Area 51, and where they did nuclear bomb testing. Here is one in Carson Valley, 0.7 near Minden, that came in at 5:34 this morning, 6 kilometers deep. Nothing at Lake Tahoe. Here's one up here near Fernley, a 0.8. This is actually northwest of Fernley, and it came in at 10:52 last night, 11 kilometers deep. Here's a little one up in the mountains here, 0.7 near Quincy, California. So now moving across this northern California area, we saw Quincy. Oh, we didn't see this one, a minus 0.5 near Cold Springs. That's a microquake. Okay, nothing else in Northern California. Now up here, the Sacramento area. In the geysers region, we have 16 today. Geysers here, and then 2 more. 2.1 near Angwin, came in at 9:36, and 1.9 near Angwin. And then there were 14 right here at the geysers. Here's one of the larger ones, a 2.2. So let's come on down, and we saw this one at San Francisco. We'll come on down this fault line and just call these off as we see them. Here's a 2.3 near Juan Bautista. Here's a 1.0 near Salinas, a 1.5 near Tres Pinos, 1.7 near Pinnacles. We've got a little cluster here. 1.7. Oh wait, I want to look at something. This one at Salinas, this 1.0, the depth is a minus 0.2 kilometers depth. So that's showing movement up in the mountain, magma moving up in the mountain. That could be an old volcano or something. I mean, that's what happens. 1.7 near Pinnacles. Then we've got 2 right here, a 1.7 near Pinnacles, and a 2.4 near Pinnacles. That's the larger one. 1.8 near Pinnacles. Coming on down this fault line. Here's a 1.7 near San Simon. Coming on down. Now we're getting into the Los Angeles and Southern California area. 2.8 at Northridge, we showed that. Here's this 3.2 at Loma Linda, we showed that. Here's a couple of small ones near Corona. Let's see what's going on in these San Bernardino Mountains. 3.6, that's the Lucerne Valley one. And another one at Lucerne Valley of 1.0. So those were right there together last night. Now, here's a small one, 1.1, and we can see them peppered around through. Now the fault line moves down here to the east of Salton Bay, or Salton Sea. Now, we always have this cluster down here at Kauai. There's 16 down here today. These are small ones and unders. And here's a little one, a 1.2 near Ocotillo Wells. Nothing down here across the border. Now let's come up this eastern side. I think we saw, did we see these? No, here's a 1.3 quarry blast near Tehachapi. Came in at 12:56 this afternoon, a -1 kilometers depth. Here's a 1.1 near Tehachapi that came in at 2:19 this afternoon. Then coming on up, Rose Valley. Near Rose Valley we have 2 here, this 1.8 near Coso Junction and 1.6 near Coso Junction. We usually see activity there. Now coming on up into Mammoth Lakes and this Long Valley Caldera area, we have 10 listed here. I'll just call them off. 0.4, 1.7, 0.5, 1.4, 0.4, 0.5, 1.7, 2.6. We saw that one on the other map. 0.7 and 1.4. So that's showing activity down here. And then up here near Gardnerville was a 1.1. So there's that. Let's see if anything came in. Okay, we've got a new one right down here at the tip of Baja, right on this red line. This is the Gulf of California that comes down between Baja and Mexico. This is brand new, just came in. It was a 4.9 near San Jose del Cabo, Mexico. Came in at 4:16 this afternoon. So there's that. So we saw the 2.5 at Hawthorne, 2.2 near Daly City. We saw that. 2.6 near Talkeetna, 1.4 near Valdez, Alaska. I think we saw all of those. Yeah, we got those. Okay. I just want to make sure that I got all of them before I move over to comments. We saw this 4.7 at Japan. But look at this list with the Punta Cana from Dominican Republic. These were coming in like one right after another, these large ones, starting here at 10:46 this morning, then 10:58, then 11:22, 1:02, 1:27, 2:16, and 2:54. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 earthquakes, all since 10:46 this morning. So something's up. That's all I know. Now let's move over to comments. Starting with our video from yesterday, Robert Hayes says, "Hello, Margo." Hello, Robert Hayes. Seeing the huge amount of daily earthquakes and the patterns of various invisible gas releases is fascinating, and I thank you for going over the maps so that we can pause and observe. I've just seen a PDF map which surprised me about where permafrost is located, including around and near Novaya Zemlya, yes, but also in Colorado, Montana, Nevada, and New Mexico, etc. too. Maybe you'd like to see the Arctic projection map. I'll try to copy the URL to you next. This is so interesting. And then in the next comment, he puts the link and he says, if you open the PDF linked in the article, the permafrost map is on the second page. And I'm going to click on that in a minute. And then here's another one. He says, you probably have shown better maps before, like NASA, Earth Observatory, etc. But these ResearchGate maps of the boreholes, which show measures of the 1,000 meter deep permafrost areas, are pretty cool too. You know, I really like it when people do research and bring it to us and it's relevant to what we're looking at. So thank you, Robert, for doing this and showing us your research that you found. And they're talking about, this is a good article, and it's a PDF file, and all you have to do is download it, and it's called Arctic, and it's from Arctic and Alpine Research, and so it's called Alpine Permafrost in the Contiguous United States, a review by Troy LePewe. I don't know how to say that. Anyway, this was in 1983. So this even with this being an older article, it's good. I mean, he did a lot of research, and so what we'll be able to see, what you'll see in these maps is where they had mapped the permafrost back then, and so you can see the areas that it's coming up now. So like on this map, and they call alpine permafrost when it's in a mountainous region, and so you have snow-capped mountains, and so there's permafrost up there too. And so you can have alpine permafrost in southern latitudes in Mexico, and lots of different areas, as long as they have tall mountains with snow on them, then you can have permafrost. And I didn't realize that. And so as things warm up, then you're going to have all that melting too. So zone of subsea permafrost they show right over here. Okay, so this is United States and Canada here. So here's Greenland. So they're showing subsea permafrost up off the coast of Alaska, and then off the coast of Siberia all the way around. So that goes right into what we've been seeing. And so if that's permafrost and it's melting, you know, we've got methane coming up there. And then the next one is a zone of continuous permafrost. And so that's a lot of Siberia, most of Siberia, and then going on down further south, and then discontinuous permafrost. So, and I showed a map recently that showed the permafrost as well, but this is interesting to see it from 1983, and also to see the alpine permafrost, the black, coming down through Canada and then into the United States, coming down the Rocky Mountains, and also down here in the Sierra Nevadas. And then they go into explaining alpine permafrost and what it is, and here it is in different states, like up here in Washington. Here's Seattle, so it's north of that. Here it is in Montana, Wyoming, Colorado. There's the Rocky Mountains. I would expect a lot there. And even down here in New Mexico. I guess this is up. Here's Albuquerque, so Santa Fe's up here. So, and then they go into locality and altitude and all this stuff. So I encourage everyone to come check this out. It's a very interesting article. So thank you for that, Robert Hayes. I appreciate it. And then here's a map with boreholes where they bored 1,000 meters deep into the permafrost. So, map of deep global terrestrial network for permafrost, borehole locations with the simulated permafrost thickness with snow enhancement and observed permafrost extent. And this is from 2014. So, a bunch of it's probably melted by now. So there you go. So, thanks Robert Hayes. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. And then the other comment we got in was from Margaret Boucher, and she's commenting regarding the large earthquake that we saw in Colombia. Well, we've seen a couple in the last few days, but there was a 5 point something yesterday. And she says, "Hi Margo, news on the 29th out of Colombia from their Geologico service reports 5,400 earthquakes in the last 4 days in the Tolima area." Wow. Now, those were probably like small, and I don't know if that included tremors or not, but remember the USGS only reports magnitudes 4.5 and higher if they're not part of the United States. So we can look at EMSC and see what they reported too. The Nevado El Huia volcano is speaking. "I may not know a lot about volcano building, but I've studied magma movement. Some of the earthquakes featured on the local news were strong enough to swing hanging lamps, and one clip showed Colombians streaming out of buildings into the streets. I've yet to learn how to post links, but here's the title to a local news video." And it's in Spanish. And she says, "But I could, it's in Spanish, but I could pick out a few of the phrases and words. I've had concerns over that region since the beginning of the new year, and I found a couple of other people expressing the same feelings, some with visions which I have yet to have. Just an underlying sense of unease for that part of our world and the people residing there." Thank you, Margaret. I appreciate you reporting, and I found the video and I put the link in case anybody wanted to see it, and it's got an ad on it. But in case, Margaret, in case you want to know how to share these links from YouTube, you just hit share and hit copy, and it puts that link on your clipboard, and then you can paste it in, and then you can just paste it into your comment and it'll show up. So that's how you do that. Or if you want to share a link from the browser, you just go up here and highlight it and go copy and then paste. And for paste, it's Control V. So, some people, I don't know, some people need a little help with computer stuff, so that's okay, I understand. If you need any help with figuring out this stuff, just let me know, and we'll get you up to speed. So thank you for that, Margaret. I appreciate your research and reporting. And yeah, that area has been very active. Uh-oh. Look. Uh-oh. We've got some new earthquakes. We just had a 4.7 come in at Tanaga Volcano, Alaska at 4:22 this afternoon, 61 kilometers deep. If you want to see, I really don't like this view. It's hard to see. It's just too much white. But I was just seeing if there was maybe a tsunami, and there wasn't. Then, but we can just zoom in and see how near land that was. Okay, it was not on the land, but it was near the land. So this is part of these Aleutian Islands. So, this usually happens. I finish up a report and then I start getting a lot of earthquakes coming in. We just had another one down here in Dominican Republic. Just had a 3.4. This came in at 4:42. Right in that same place where that cluster is. So I don't know if something's about to open up there or not. Now, this is near that Bermuda Triangle. I briefly talked about that but the Bermuda Triangle comes down here and across and then back up, kind of. So I don't know what's going on, but so let's leave that. Oh wait, I was going to look at EMSC, and we don't have any new methane data today. So last 24 hours. Let's look at last 48 hours. And what they're showing down here in Colombia was a 4.0. And you can click last week. Okay. So here was the 5.4 and all these. Let's zoom to South America and see. Well, that's not 5,400. So probably, but it's a lot. This is in the last week. Look at them coming on down. The red ones are in the last 24 hours. And see this EMSC, they report the lower magnitudes. Like here's a 3.7, 3.4. So, you know, this is more like what we see in the United States with the clusters. These are in the 3s range. Here's the 5.6 and so forth. So, you know, this gives you a different perspective. So, anyway, we don't have new methane data today, unless they just put it up. But what I wanted to show everyone was ozone, and how the ozone layer is thinning, and there's a hole over the Pacific Ocean, and I'm thinking it's because of all the sulfur dioxide that's been coming up. But see how thin it is, and it's thick over the Arctic, and it's thick coming down where that cold blast is coming down. This is total column methane for today. And then when we see the aqua, and the aqua is 220 Dobson units. The blue, the purplish blue, is 200 Dobson units, or DUs. And so once you get up to yellow, that's 300. So blue and green is thin. Even the chartreuse color, that's thin. So around the middle part of the earth, mid-latitudes, it's all really thin. And it's thinning. It's still thin in the Antarctic, but it's their summertime, and I would expect it thicker down there, but whatever. But I wanted to show you this ozone hole, and I'll get the Pacific view. Look at that. So this is like what we saw over the Antarctic in the wintertime when there was no sun. But we've got a big hole. Here's Hawaii, so it's to the west of Hawaii, and then we've got a hole over here too, or it's much thinner over there. And then we see the aqua, so almost all the way across, well, from Hawaii west is 220 Dobson units or less. So when you have such a thin ozone layer, that's when you're going to have extreme ultraviolet radiation coming through, and you've really got to protect yourself when you're out in the sun. And poor Australia, their heat wave is still going, and their ozone, this reading is 240 DU, and then it's up to 260 down here. So it's quite thin down there. It's thin down in New Zealand, that's 260. And so all of the South Pacific is thin, all of the southern hemisphere is very thin. And also up here in California, see, it's a little bit aqua there, and that's from the sulfur dioxide coming up, I think. So let's look at North America. Isn't that weird looking? Look how thin it is on this western side. So all of, see, California, this is where we saw the sulfur dioxide coming up over here. But so this is over here to the east, and this is Oregon here. So, or Northern California, and up into Oregon, then Nevada. So it's thin all the way across. And then Texas, it does this diagonal line across Texas. And then even in the south, it's thin, like Florida. So, but it's thicker where they've got that polar vortex coming down for whatever reason. I would think it'd be thinner, but it's not. So let's see if we have any new methane data. Nope. The latest is Sunday, and I've already shown that. But if you want to see something, let's get global and total column. So normally we look at surface level or 500 HPA. We don't always look at total column. So once you get total column, you can see it's more concentrated around the middle of the planet. So that's where it's going to be holding that heat in. See, in these colors. And then over here, look at China. It's red and into that dark brown, what I call black area. And parts of India and even the Indian Ocean. Look at that. So, there's that. Now let's see if there's anything else on earthquakes that we need to look at. And we'll wrap it up for today. I think that's it. We got Tananga volcano. We got that one. San Jose del Cabo at 4:16 today. Yeah, we got that. We got Hawthorne, Nevada. We got this one in the Dominican Republic. So that seems to be a good stopping point. So my name is Margo, and I do believe we are in the end times, and the time is short. Oh, we didn't cover Hawaii. How could I miss Hawaii? I totally spaced Hawaii, and then I saw this red dot just pop up, and so we gotta look at Hawaii real quick. Here's a 1.1 2.6, 1.7, 1.7, 2.0, and 2.2. So the biggest one is this 2.2 that just came in at Mauna Loa. So that's calmed down there. So now I will wrap it up. I do believe we are in the end times, and that no one knows the day or the hour, but I recommend everyone get their spiritual houses in order. I do holistic life coaching as a form of talk therapy from a spiritual perspective. If people are interested, you can go to my website, margoshealingcorner.com, and check it out. So until next time, I love all of you very much. God bless you. Go in peace, and I'll talk to you real soon. Good night.